The last few minutes, guys, I appreciate everyone for their participation. I appreciate the opportunity to just do one last discussion and a little talk about what we do and what Starweaver does, and then we'll show you one of our tools. So Starweaver is a content and tools engine. I always say, think of us as the Rolls-Royce airplane engine company. We don't make the plane. We don't put our name on it. We don't fly it. We don't sell the seats. What does that mean? We create the engine, the content that empowers LinkedIn, Coursera, and 150 other major distribution platforms to fly their planes, if you will. So we create courses of all different sizes and lengths. And actually the one that Paolo was just showing you was one with Eric Sackerson, who you heard talk minutes ago. So that's one of the things we do. However, we also build tools. And that's what I'm going to show you right now. One of the tools I'm not going to show you is one for process management. That's called Booster. Another tool that's kind of the engine factory. The other tool is an analytics platform that helps the airlines, if you will, the platforms decide what content to create and what structure to create, and helps creators, educators create content as well based on that data. And the platform I'm about to show you now is called Journeybuilder. And you could think of that as the guidebook that allows each of the passengers, or the students in this case, to decide where to go and how to get there. So I'm going to show this with sound settings. Hopefully that'll work as well. And I will share my application. I think that's the best way to do this. So this is Journeybuilder. It's currently free. You can pretty much access it and poke around anywhere and everywhere you'd like. Journeybuilder is a voice-forward application. What you're looking at right now is the learner, the student journey builder. Think of Journey as a hyper-personalized learning path, if you want, but it's much more specific and much more narrow than that. So you could ask it to, I want to become a plumber, or I want to be a leadership development professional, or I want to learn what data science is. So the way you can work with Journeybuilder is you can upload a job description, a target job that you might want, or study materials, things you want to learn. You can speak to it. I'll show you that in a few minutes. And what it will build is a journey. Now, I just did this minutes ago, and actually that was quite interesting. I used the phrase bean counter deliberately to see if I can confuse the AI. And what it did was built a journey. This is me as a creator, but I'm a student in this case. And what it did is built a map. You could think of it as a learning map. We think of it as a journey. Within each node, and this is all controllable, I'll show this in a second. Within each node along the journey, it curates and it creates content. Now, we did this as a demonstration project, as the public can see YouTube. But if you were a large enterprise or a university, you can decide what content gets curated and created. This is so-called curated. This system goes out to various APIs and finds the metadata that will align what does it mean to be a bean counter, and this fact that actually found out that it was an accountant. It will curate content. It will also create content like podcasts, much like Notebook LM. It will create flashcards. And again, when I first thought this, I was a little worried about our system. Would it know what a bean counter was? Was it jelly beans or was it financial? Obviously, here it got it right. And of course, it went on further. It will create, in this case, quizzes of all different levels of difficulty. Frequently asked questions, and it will actually integrate to third-party content. These are just examples of what we do, articles, etc. So this is one view. Another view, for example, is a podcast view. I'm not showing you a simulation view, which rolls out fairly soon.
Ash, it's fascinating how the role of a bean counter has evolved in large industrial enterprises.
Okay, so obviously you're allowed to download this, these podcasts, and over here, two things you're not seeing. One is the simulation view, where we either integrate to products like Skillfully or Ardois or others, or we roll out our own simulation tool, which is coming out very shortly, this next quarter, and a roadmap view, which clusters together journeys. So you get the idea. I'm going to show you how it builds. It's kind of cool. The voice part is even, in my mind, a little more interesting. But what it does is it allows you to have a conversation, that voice forward part that I described here. And I'm just going to come up with fairly random job that I want to learn or something I want to build.
Hey there, I'm Astro. So, I'm here to help craft a personalized journey for you. Let me ask, what's something you're excited to learn or explore?
Well, I'm thinking of becoming a financial analyst. I'm just getting out of college, and I heard that it was a really cool career in banking.
Awesome choice. So, you're just starting out after college. How much time do you think you can dedicate to learning each day or week?
Well, I'm pretty much all in because I'm looking for a job and I'm just graduating. So I've got a few months, and my family has given me the time to study. So I want to really get up to speed quickly.
Got it. So you've got plenty of time to dedicate. That's great. What's your preferred way of learning? Do you like reading, watching videos, hands-on practice, or
Well, pretty
something
much
else?
everything. But if I had a coach, that would be great. But also, I'd love to get a an internship, anything, listening, reading, watching, you name it.
That's fantastic. You're open to all kinds of learning, and you'd love some hands-on experience like an internship
Build
or
journey.
maybe.
So you
What's the main goal you want to achieve by
build
learning
journey.
financial analysis? Are you aiming for a specific role, or do you have a particular skill set you want to develop?
Build journey. So what it should do is trying to pick. It's not. It may be picking up some ambient sounds here, and build journey.
All right. So, I'm starting to build your personalized
And
journey
I'm
now,
muting this over here
based
so
on
that you don't
everything you
hear doesn't
shared.
hear the ambient
Just
sound in the
give me a
background here
moment
or
while
listen
I
to that.
get things ready for you.
And so what it's going to do is what they were talking about with Rava Huja's discussion and Natalie and others. And this is now developing context. Now, just as I said, you're looking at right now is the user side of this. There is also a creator studio side of this, and there's an enterprise orchestrator. So the enterprise can orchestrate context, so can the creator, that is to say, the instructor or any other content creator. And now it has a content pipeline, a context pipeline that it's building. What is my main focus? Well, career change, skill mastery, let's say certification, and let's say industry insights. And what it's doing is it's grabbing more and more context. Now, if I do this multiple times, it's beginning to learn about me, and it's going to be able to give me insights into things as it was kind of interesting what Steve said before. Kathy was talking about how you should be able to go into any job. Well, maybe I'm not really interested in this. I just thought it was a good idea. My parents couldn't advise me otherwise. And so I have this interesting tool that's giving me a coaching session. Essentially, what we look at this Journeybuilder is creating a better version of you. So what's my biggest challenge? Let's say exam prep, I think, industry, practical expertise, job, and let's say job research. So obviously you can build as much context here as you want. And I'm going to pick some random things. And what it's going to do is now build the journey, as I said. So think of this as you're a enterprise. Think of this, you're a content creator. You can build journeys, build courses as well. You can render them in multiple views, as I've sent here. This is a node view. I showed you the podcast view, the simulation views coming shortly, as is the roadmap view. And of course, I could render this purely in a course view that is very similar to one you might see on any platform today. So what's exciting about this from our point of view is it's a tool set. It's a tool set that not merely puts the education close to the, let's call it the last mile, it puts it close to the consumer, the person who wants to learn in multiple roles, whether they're new hire, whether mid-career, et cetera. And it also empowers the educators to be creating more interesting and better tools. What I'm going to do is just copy this window over so I don't break what it's doing over there. And I'm going to show you a little about the Creator Studio while we're doing that. Okay, so I'm going to jump into the Creator Studio, and frankly, you'll see the one I just built right there. But this was interesting. A major publisher asked us to build a journey in real time about trauma-informed care. I did not know what that was at all, but it built a very robust journey that was designed to help people who were dealing with trauma develop a roadmap to learning. So the tool set over here, now you see as a Journeybuilder Studio, I have my dashboard, I have my analytics, I have, which is not fully rolled out right now, but I have the journeys that I built, and I have a repository. And this is a place where I can actually upload my own digital assets. For example, I can add videos, I can add quizzes, I can build them on the fly. You can see them, that they can be built at multiple layers. And so the overall picture that we're trying to paint is that we would like to be providing these tools as we are providing content to the major platforms, to the major enterprises, to the publishers who are looking to recontextualize or re-engineer their content in multiple flavors and formats. So these, you could upload a certification and it will build a skill map. It'll break it down, as I did with this verbally, to a discussion where how much time do you have to be certified. Often I use the example if someone says, I'd like to climb Everest, Mount Everest. The first question I might ask you is, do you have a good pair of hiking shoes? Have you ever gone on a long hike? And so, ambition is one thing, but actualization of that ambition is another. And what we often find is that students who are coming out of college don't have necessarily parents who are in those fields who could necessarily advise them. There are organizations that have always been trying to figure out, how do I roadmap someone's career? How do I move them from one career to another? As Steve pointed out, the most valuable thing an organization can do is develop and enhance the skills of their people, because they're the closest and the best, most knowledgeable. And I think AI has the power to do that. It's demonstrating, obviously, in some of the tools you saw today. There are hundreds of tools out there. One of the biggest challenges I often find is not so much as the tool building, but aligning the product to the market to make sure that you've got a cool tool that actually works, that fits a market need, and then has distribution channel. I often ask this somewhat silly but funny question. I ask people, so who was the one person who made Microsoft successful? And he was a she. I jokingly say that, and most people do not know. And I always think it was Mary Gates, Bill's mother. Now, why? Not because she gave birth to Bill, but because she was on the board of IBM. She had a door opening for Gates and Allen to walk through. That meant they had to stand on their own 2 feet. They had to have an awesome product or an ability to develop the product and the skills and the team to actualize that, but they also needed an open door. And so for those of you who are building platforms, or those of you who have ideas to build platforms, part of it is obviously the creation of the product and the platform. Part of it is the team. Critical part is your team. That is what we've been able to do and make ourselves successful. But it's also ultimately having the partnerships and the relationships. We want to, as an organization, be an ecosystem that is open to learners, is very open to what we now have over 500 experts, like the ones we saw today, in all sorts of domains, from Australia to Canada to Brazil to Armenia to you name it. We have many countries in which people are creating content with us. And what I like to say is they're the brains, we're the muscles. And now some of our tools are powerful muscles that will empower those experts to do more and better, like Bill and Eric and Tom had mentioned earlier, and Hector, of course. And I want to wrap promptly. If there are any questions, I will take them. If not, I really want to thank everyone for an awesome day. Really appreciate everyone's participating. I really appreciate the input and feedback. And we want to make these things better. I always finish our week with our team with what went well, what didn't go well, and what could be done better. We are very much process oriented, very much about improving everyone on the team and what we do and the organization ecosystems that we are surrounded by or immersed with. And so if we can be helpful to you in your career, in your organization, in your work as an expert creator, or in your work as an enterprise L&D professional, we're here to do that. We make mistakes, of course. We try to correct them as quickly as we can. And we want to partner with great people who build something exciting. So with that, I will wish you a wonderful day or evening ahead. And thank everyone for just a fantastic program and everything you've done to make this a success. Hope to see you in September. Please register. We're going to send out some pre-registration. Again, there's no cost. We hope you share the knowledge with your friends and colleagues. And we hope to see you again online and in the business world. Thanks, everyone.